Hey everybody, how's everybody doing today? Welcome to my photo editing live stream where you submit your photos preferably before the stream, and then I edit them here for you live. And I haven't done anything to them yet, but we'll take a look and see what I can do. Um, Also, I think shameless self plug here that DxO right now is offering 20% off all of their products. So Photolab Elite, which is what I use here for editing, and it's my primary editor. And then also like the DxO Pure Raw, which is a pre-processing denoiser for your raw images, which works great if you have Lightroom or some other editing software already. And then of course, there's Nick Collection and Film Pack, which you can explore. I prefer Nick Collection over the Film Pack, but maybe later this week I'll do a comparison. But just go to one of my affiliate links down below in the description of this video. Actually, let me put it in real quick here in the chat also. And hopefully, let me know if you can see and hear me okay. Just we'll do a sound and video check. So just go to robtrek.com/DxO and then I'll get credit for it. But they're giving 20% off. You don't need a coupon code or anything. And they're only this is for a limited time. I think there's like another week left or so. But you won't get a deal like this until Black Friday, really. So if you're interested in DxO products or want to get away from Adobe, like it seems like a lot of people are dropping them lately. But this is a great opportunity to get into the Photolab 7 Elite. Okay, thank you, Bob. I see Andrew's here. Ex Meta, Amir, good to see you guys. Andrew, good to see you. Paul, hi, how are you? So and Jack, good to see you, Jack. So let me go ahead without further ado and get into the images. Let me see if I can figure out how to bring up the main screen. Almost there. Almost there. And yeah, okay, that looks good. So if everybody can see the images here, I'll go ahead and get started. And let me move one more window. Okay, John follows. Good to see you. Oh, one more thing. I saw Rudolph said he's on Nick 7 or Andrew. Andrew, you said you're on Nick 6. I don't think the 20% off applies to upgrades, unfortunately. You can try, but I don't think it does. It only applies to, you know, new purchases basically. And then Paul says, I have Photolab 7, but I'm on a level behind on Film Pack and Viewpoint. Is it worth upgrading these two? I would say no. I wouldn't upgrade. I mean, if you're very particular about your perspective corrections, Viewpoint offers an additional few upgrades or tools to help you with that. Um, but I think you can get about 99% there with just Photolab 7's already perspective correction tools. Uh, like I said, Viewpoint offers some additional grids where you can change certain areas specifically, but I don't think it's worth the upgrade unless you're really, really into uh, architectural photography and you want to really make some corrections, uh, fine tune things. So, and then film pack, I think you said you're on the previous version. I think we're up to 7 now, maybe F6, but uh, I think the only thing film pack adds in 7 is you can now do uh, luminance masking on a global scale, like the entire image, which is pretty neat. I'll show you that in while I'm doing this. I think I don't use it myself very much. Where is it? I can't even remember where it is. That's how much I use it. Maybe it's in here. It should be on this panel if they were going to be very intuitive about it, but I don't see it here. Maybe- Dang it. Where did they hide it? Maybe in special effects? I doubt it's in here. This well, basically, you get luminosity masking on the entire image, and you can kind of fine tune the gradations uh, in a little bit more direct or deliberate way than you can, say, using the local adjustments panel. Because I can select a local adjustment, and I can kind of do a luminosity mask this way. But the Film Pack 7, I believe, adds a little bit more control there. If I see it while I'm editing, I'll show it to you. It's not something I use very much, but a lot of people that do HDR, right, where they're bracketing photos, merging them, a lot of times they like to do this additional editing using the luminosity masking, where they can control the highlights and shadows with a little more precision than you can, say, with the um, local adjustments. But it's it's very minor, in my opinion. So if you're thinking about a second DxO product, I usually recommend people get Nick Collection because that adds HDR, double exposure, a ton of filters. It also has film simulations in there. They're not the same as the ones you get in Film Pack, meaning, like if I pick Kodak Portra 400 in DxO, and this was true of previous versions. I haven't double checked since version 7, but you could pick like DxO Film Pack Ultra uh, Portra 400 in both Film Pack and Nick Collection, but they look different. They don't render the colors the same. And film simulations are very difficult in general. You can kind of get a different look. I don't think, you know, generally speaking, they're very accurate anyway. Uh, they do. I like personally. I like to use the film pack for the black and whites, but also Silver Effects has film simulations, right? So that's also a Nick Collection. So Nick Collection, you get Silver Effects for doing black and white. You get HDR, double exposure, and then a ton of other things. And I think that's a much better value than film pack all by itself. Unless for some reason you specifically need that luminosity masking, which is pretty valuable to some people. Hopefully, uh, when Photolab 8 comes out, they add that just directly in Photolab rather than having it separately in Film Pack. Okay, so let's start with the first image. I have praying mantis here, and see how I can manipulate this a little bit. Wow, Stylus 1S, classic, awesome little camera. And you zoomed all the way out to 300 millimeter equivalent. This lens is amazing, isn't it? Um, on that camera. Okay, so let me apply basic preset, which is just optical corrections and noise reduction and a tiny bit of sharpening. And I think I'm gonna just do a little bit of a crop. Let's just do I generally like square crops on wildlife because the subject is basically this praying mantis. And then I'm going to straighten this out like that. And let's see if I can select just the praying mantis itself. So I'm going to use this automated masking tool here. Okay, that's good. I don't need to do these legs. I don't. Let's see how we did here. Ooh, that's a train wreck. So I'm gonna have to clean that up a little bit. This is one thing that Adobe is really good at, the Photoshop, at selecting the subject. I hope DxO can improve this particular feature in future updates. I'm going to reduce the flow and get in here too. All right, because I just wanted to select the mantis basically to just give it a little more brightness like that. Now I know it's clipped now, but what I do normally is I go back in and I reduce the exposure on the image overall. Yeah, let me fix it here a little bit. Okay, that looks good. All right. Uh, let's see if we can saturate or bring the color out a little bit more on this mantis. That's good. Just a slight extra pull on the highlights. And then we'll just add a little bit of sharpening directly to that area. And by little, I mean 100%. 100% on this 100% or scale is very, very small. So 100 is really like one in practice. Maybe I'll do a little bit in here too. See how that. Oh no, no, no. Let me do a new auto mask. Let's see. Bring that up just slightly, pull the highlights in. You get a little bit more of this leg. And then pull this off a little bit here. Okay. A little bit right there. Do that here one more time. All right, that looks good. Let me just back this off a little bit. I usually like the subject to be about one stop brighter than the rest of the scene, more or less. And let's go in and fine tune some of the sharpening. So I'm gonna bring the loop right here on the head. I'm gonna look in this window here, see if I can just bring out the details a little bit more. Yeah, not bad. All right, I need to just work on this mask a little bit more. I'm going to bring the flow down to just very, very minimum here. Just try and get rid of some of this haloing a little bit. Okay. And I think we're done. Maybe a slight push to the midtones, a little bit of clear view, and I think that's all I would do for this. So let's export this. Let's do 100% here. put it to the original folder, and then we'll do a quick comparison. Okay. All right, I'm going to reset it and let's compare it against the output. So here's the edited image on the left. Here's the old image on the right. So I think that the crop works really well for this image, and then of course straightening it out, and then bringing the mantis forward via brightening the mantis up, and not bad. I might brush in a little bit more here to get rid of some of the haloing, like I did on the head, if I were to continue this. But for the most part, I'm pretty happy with that edit. So let's look at just the image by itself. And then I'm going to zoom in so you can really see the detail here. What a great job DxO does at pulling detail out of even this very, very old camera. This is like a 10 or 12 megapixel camera at its longest focal length, 300 millimeters. And um, so this lens is inherently a little bit soft, as you can see in the raw image here. But then when I bring in the details, it does a good job. So looking at normal distances here, I think that looks really good. Okay, let's go to the next one here. We've got one here from John Follows. And this looks like it's already been processed with DxO Prime. So I guess you have Pure Raw 3 or 4 because it says XD2. And this is the new G9 Mark II. Cool. With the 12 to 200. Okay, so first thing I noticed, I don't need to do any, but first thing I noticed is the perspective's a little bit off. That might be a bit too much, but that's okay. Let me look at it before and after. Yeah, that's better. Uh, it's a little bit off. I'm going to back this off just a little bit. Okay. And then for the crop, let's just do auto for now and see where we're at. Okay, in this scene, I find this building very uninteresting, but then I like the landscape, these reds, I like these colors. And I like this little patio or setup here with the flowers. So I'm not sure. I'm gonna try. What do I get if I go right in here? Nope. If I do that, that's got something. And if I cut out that building completely, okay, I like that better. That building, I didn't like it at all. But I do have the landscape, the red. I lost this blue boat, but I have some colors down here. Okay, I think I'll go somewhere in here. So let me expand this a tiny bit. Just try and keep as much of the scene as possible and give some headroom up here. A little bit of room for this box. Okay, that works for me, kind of. Um, ah, I grabbed too much in the corner here. Okay, this blue is a little distracting. Let's see if I can straighten this out a bit. Sorry, this is the architectural part of me coming out. I just lines and angles have to be straight for me, generally speaking. Okay. All right, let's do some local adjustments. I want to bring out some of the shadow area in here. So I'm going to mask it. It's already masked pretty well, but let's open that up a little bit on the luminosity. But crank up the chroma. Okay. Let's push the shadows a tiny bit. Let's try highlights first. Okay. And then the shadows. Okay. Uh, and a little bit of clear view for some contrast. Let's crank up the micro contrast. Okay. Now let's work on the sky a little bit. So I'm just going to use a linear gradient. I'm going to move the eyedropper into the cloudy area. Oh, hold on. I gotta start a new one. It was just copying over. It's copying over the stuff that I did on the previous one. And let's crank up the luma just a little bit so it only selects the sky. All right, let's add some clear view and some contrast. And maybe make it a little brighter, like so. Okay, that looks good. And let's lighten up a couple of other things here. All these little green plants and flowers. Just give them a little bit more life. Okay. I push the highlights. Maybe not the shadows. Let's try midtones. Increase the chroma mask a little bit because it's kind of bleeding into the blacks. And I'm going to warm them up a tiny bit as well. Yeah. Maybe on these flowers. Okay. Might be able to do the same here a little bit in the forest or this tree line. Just to give it a little bit more dynamic range. And then we'll do the opposite and pull the shadows in a bit, like so. We'll do the same on these rocks. Okay, and then one last thing is this red boat here. I'm going to make this a little bigger. Increase the chroma masking. What I'll do here is some micro contrast. I'll get a little bit of clarity. And then let's see if we can just make that a little bit redder, maybe a little brighter. And then the boat, this boat too. I do a lunar mask on this. Let's make it a little bit brighter. And I think I see one more thing I want to do. What if I add a little bit of light in here? To that side of the image. And one more drop there. Like that. Okay, I think I'm done. Uh, let's just do a quick comparison without geometry. Okay. So here's the original image on the left, and this whole area over here, because I didn't like this building, there's nothing else in here that really adds anything to the image. I kind of miss having this chair and table, but uh, I couldn't keep it in there without keeping all of this other stuff, which is to me very uninteresting. So the interesting parts were here in the mountain, um, coming down into this bay, and then all I had to do is just sort of give it some. So there's the original. Just give it a little bit of pop. And this is a little more balanced too, right? Because you have this this heavy boat here, and then you have these mountains back here. And then this is just sort of your mid-ground, mid-level. So it's this is a little bit more layered, right? Foreground, mid-ground, background. And I think that kind of helps the composition also, is just layering the image a little bit more versus this one didn't feel layered. It was just a little bit kind of going off in one direction to the left, and that building made a very, very heavy, it's just too heavy on the left side. It didn't balance well with the rest of the image. So I think this balance is better. It's a little bit more layered. Okay, let's do the next one. Thank you for sending that in, John. And this is from Vinod. Looks like you sent me a JPEG, so I'm not gonna be able to do much with this, unfortunately. Uh, the only thing I would do is I'll do a little bit here. It's a little tough because it's a JPEG. But what I would probably do is just do some local adjustments on the birds here and brighten this up. Maybe just shift it. Oh, if this weren't a raw image, I could shift the white balance. I would warm up the birds a little bit. I don't think I can do anything here. I'll just shift it a tiny bit there. Um, and then let's add some highlights, midtones. And let's just sharpen it. And then we'll do another local adjustment here on the eye. Okay. And then I think we're okay. Maybe just add a little bit of a vignette. And this is a film pack feature, adding vignette directly through Photolab. But you can do it without film pack. You can add a vignette pretty easy, just using the control points. And then I will just warm up the image. Let me try a natural profile. I like this natural profile that DxO has. And then we'll just warm it up a tiny bit more. Like that. And then just pull the vibrance down a little there. Maybe a little bit more. And I'm going to shift the greens. Where did my color wheel go? Style toning. What? I just had it. I clicked on something and it disappeared. Oh, here, HSL. Sorry. I'm going to. It's just a little bit too green. So I'm just going to shift everything a little bit warmer this way as well. And desaturate. Just a touch. Okay, I'm done. Um, so let's do a quick comparison. Okay, so this is the original image on the left. This is my edited image on the right. So again, I'm just bringing out the subject, these two birds, by using warmer colors the best I could with a JPEG, and um, and then adding a vignette to also brighten the center, and have the eye stay right there. And also, the image was very cool in terms of white balance. And since it's a JPEG, I can't really affect that as much as I would like, but I think that works pretty well. So we'll just do a full screen before and after. So this is the before image, and that's the after. And if I had the raw image, I could have cleaned up the noise and gotten a lot more detail out of it as well. But such as it is, there's the before and there's the after. Okay, thanks for sending that in. And then John Allen also sent me a JPEG, but we will do our best. So I'm not going to be able to really affect the white balance or pull the highlights quite as much as I'd want, because these windows I'm sure have some interesting colors in them, but they're going to be hard to extract. As far as perspective and things in the scene, yeah, these converging lines. What I would do in a scene like this is I'd probably use a tighter angle and take three images and stack them, do a panorama type shot. And then I could easily fix the perspective corrections because I've captured a much larger area. But, in a single shot, this is really all you can do, right? What if I just apply that? That helps, actually. That helps. And then let's do Let's do a crop now. Let me just see what I'm losing. Losing a little bit of the top windows, but that's okay. I think this is better. All right, I'm going to do the best I can with the shadows and things. Maybe a little bit shift on the left to right. Yeah, let me shift it a little bit that way. And then let's see how much we can fit with a square crop, because there's nothing over here on the left side. Okay, good. Um, Now let me go into the local adjustments, because I don't think white balance, let me see what I can do here if I pull this off a tiny bit. Yeah, that's helpful. Okay. And I'm gonna do the auto lighting. Maybe a little bit less. Yeah, right there looks good. Well, no, let me make it a little bit brighter. Pull the white balance in a little bit more. And see if I can do anything with the highlights. Not bad. Uh, I think some clear view would help. Definitely some micro contrast. Just to bring out the textures in the walls. This might even look good as black and white because there's basically one color here, orange, right? So maybe go black and white. Let me just eyeball a black and white version. Oh, yeah, that's much better. I can work with this. I'm gonna double check. I'm gonna double check. Color. Yeah, there's just orange everywhere. So let's go to black and white. And we're gonna have to work with these gradations a bit. Let me back off this micro contrast. Push the fine contrast. This fine contrast is also a film pack only type setting. Uh, Maybe just add a little bit there. And I think from here I can do some, well, let's put the highlights back. I push this up. When I'm pushing this highlight slider, I'm kind of looking everywhere except here, because I know that's going to start to glow, but I kind of want to see what I get everywhere else. Because I'm going to come back and fix this in a local adjustment. Just trying to give the image some dynamic range here. Okay, let's do a couple local adjustments. Let's fix all of these highlights. See if we can do one more. Right there, maybe right there a little bit. Okay, that's good. Now, I'm going to just give some of these other areas a little bit more pop. A little more pop there. Just using the clear view, maybe some micro contrast. A little bit of pop there. And inside here, okay. How about that window? Oh, that's not doing nothing. Uh, okay, that's good. How about on this lady here? Yeah, just a little bit on her too. Okay. And then I don't know if I can do, I'm just gonna spot check an area. You know, like when you do laundry and you spot check like a stain on your clothes before you know, wash the whole load sometimes. That's what I like to do. I like to spot check certain areas to see how the adjustment affects it. Uh, and that's all I'm doing here. I don't see I'm getting much out of this one spot. Maybe a tiny bit. And then one more adjustment. We'll add a little bit more glow right in here and over here. A little bit small. And then push. Okay, I think I'm done. So let's do a quick comparison. Now again, if this were a raw image, I would have had a little more flexibility, but uh, there's the original here on the left, and this is my edit on the right. And really, we didn't hurt the image at all going black and white because there's barely any colors other than orange on the left side. Uh, and then I just emphasized the light and the shadows, you know, added some dynamic range. And I really wanted this centerpiece here to have the most sort of pop and clarity to it. I could probably crop in a little more and get rid of this balcony or whatever's over here. But I think it's okay because you got this perspective that you're standing on the balcony up here looking down. So you feel like the observer in a way. So I don't mind this little bit framing. Uh, okay, I think that came out pretty good. Let's go to the next one. Whoops. Uh, this one here is from Terry. This looks like you already processed this completely. So I don't I don't know if there's anything I can do to this. Let me see if there's any anything I can recover. Not really. Yeah, sorry, Terry. Nice picture, but it's nothing I can do with this. Because it's a JPEG and it's already been processed. So I don't know if this is a scan of a negative, possibly. Um, but normally when I scan my negatives or slides, I scan them into a TIFF file. So I have the maximum dynamic range. It's basically a raw image if you scan it as a TIFF, 16-bit TIFF, I should say. And um, and then from there you can manipulate the image a lot better. But as it is, I looks like you scanned the JPEG, and this is a relatively low. This is about 12 megapixels. Moto. Oh, this is taken with a cell phone. Okay. Yeah. Sorry, Terry. It's not much I can do with this other than crop out. Let's crop out that piece there and the white edges. So okay, let's go. Thanks for sending that in, but excuse me. Um, very little I can do with a JPEG that's this heavily processed already, or appears to be processed. Maybe it's just a black and white negative or something. Um, hmm, it's a beach scene. What's going on? People are fishing. No, they're just walking the dog. These ladies are just everybody just kind of standing around. I guess because the water's gone. There's no water. It must be low tide or something. These are interesting, these poles, though. What are these? No idea. I guess what I'll do, let me apply just a basic preset, and we'll just do a wide crop because there's just a perspective correction. Hmm, come down here. I don't know what these sticks are. There's a little bit of reflection here. No, there's not really enough tones in this for me to. I mean, see, right in here is darker. Some light in here. Wow, this is tough. Uh, let me do. Let me just crank up the clear view here so I can bring out some of the details. A little bit of micro contrast, and then we'll push the highlights. Let's drag that up to here. Okay. I think, honestly, I think that's all I can do here. I don't know. My problem is I don't know what I'm looking at, and the people are just standing around, not doing anything. Okay, I think I'm done. I don't know what else I can do. Uh, again, primarily because I'm not exactly sure what I'm looking at. So there's the uh there's the original image here on the left. So I just cropped out all this negative space. I mean, negative space works well when you have sort of a singular subject, but when you have sort of like all of this pole sticking out of the ground, I don't think the negative space works well for that. So I just went with this and did my best to bring out the details in the sand, but keeping all of these poles, because maybe that's important for some reason. You can tell I'm not really a beach person. If I was, I would know what these are. These pylons, maybe for a pier they're thinking about building later. I don't know. Okay. Well, Tom says which are embedded in the sea floor or anchored by. I'm just reading what Tom Dagan wrote. So this must be for a pier, but piers are usually long and straight or wide, but this is like taking up a whole area. You got all of these poles. If it was a pier, I would think it'd just be kind of like in one spot. But anyway, that's the best I can do there. Okay, let's see. We have one here from Amir. Nice little woodland scene. And I think for this, could be the Appalachian Trail with this blue mark here. But anyway, I like the roots. I like this. I might have to go a little bit soft on the focus, warm it up. So let me just put in a basic preset. Um, and I'm gonna brighten the trail up and try and minimize the forest. Crop in on this tree a little bit. So let's do a crop first. I think right there is good. Get rid of the blown out sky. That's interesting. It's like must be some stairs leading up to the trail on the right side here. There's a little bit of perspective, wide angle distortion. Maybe a vertical would be better. I think a vertical might work better. Okay, so we'll go with that. And then let's start doing some, well, let me fix the white balance. I want to warm this up a little bit. Right about there. Well, yeah, just a hair. Okay. And let's see if we can pull some of this foliage or tree line in a little bit. And we'll warm it up just a tiny bit more. There's the highlights, even the blacks. Okay, that looks good. Let's bring this, see if I bring this down about there. Okay. Um, and then on the left side, we're going to do anything here to the browns. Let's add a little bit of a chroma mask there. So I don't want to affect the greens too much. So you can see how just using the chroma mask, I pulled the greens out. And let's pull. Midtones a bit. Good, good, good. If I push the chroma a tiny bit more. All right, now it's a little bit of a green cast going on, so I'm going to see if I can desaturate some of that and then shift it more to the browns. Again, remember, this is mass, so I'm not affecting. If I left the saturate, no, let's just desaturate. Okay. I think we're almost there. Okay, and then just gonna brighten this one little area here. So we're gonna do some local. I do it this way. Okay. I'm still in the right area. Why didn't it? Yeah, this is what I want. This one. And this one. And then let me darken these other areas. Just down in here. One more right there. Okay, one more thing I'm gonna do. I kind of like the light hitting the trees back in here. So I'm gonna work on these just a little bit. So let me increase the chroma. And I'm trying to minimize affecting the greens. Okay. So what I'm gonna do is just warm these up a tiny bit and then brighten them. About this one. Too many. Just that. Okay. How about down here? Just add a little bit to kind of accent the other light that's hitting in here. Just that one. Okay. How about this one? No. Okay, I think I'm done. All right. So well, actually, this is a little bit too strong. Or just make it smaller. Okay. I think I'm done. So let's do a before and after. So here's the original image on the left and the edited one here on the right. So again, I'm just trying to emphasize this trail and bring some of the warmth back from coming in from the sun over here on the left. And then I like the way the light was hitting the trees in the background. So I wanted to keep that because you can kind of see it here, but it's not warm. So I might have overdone it on the warmth a little bit. Let me just back this off a little bit this way. And I didn't do much here, but if I did, maybe I can make it a little softer just by pulling the micro contrast back. Okay. Woodland pics, you can spend a lot of time on just touching here and there, but this is kind of like, I think this works pretty well. So there's the original here on the left and my edit on the right. So let's do a uh, before and after. I think that came out pretty nice. Here's the before, and there's the after. Okay, very nice image, Amir. Let's see. This one is from Jack, and Jack. I remember he sent me an Instagram tag where he had edited this image. Um, well, let me go ahead and just apply basic preset first, because this is shot at ISO 3200. So we're going to have to export this to see the details, but this is pretty straightforward. I think I'll just square this off. Right in here. God, is that a grasshopper? Oh, that's a freaking butterfly. Uh, I think I'll just give the leaves a little bit of room. And what I might do is rotate this to give if I go this way. No, I'm trying to get a little bit more diagonal on the butterflies, but I don't think I'm going to be able to make that work because we have these sort of railing in the background that is going to make it look a little weird. If I go this way. This might work. Yeah. The railing. Yeah. Let's work on the butterflies now. Um, well, the exposure needs to be fixed a little bit. So let me bring it down. There. And now we'll work on the butterflies. So I think let me just increase the chroma a little bit. Maybe the luma as well. No. Okay. I'm just going to bring the exposure up and some clarity and saturation. Let's try vibrance. Vibrance, saturation. Okay. These guys are a little bit too strong. Meaning I lost some contrast in here. Uh, okay. That's good there. Now let's pull back some of this railing area. Okay. And then for the greens, I'll make those pop a little bit more. Let's try this green. A little brighter. Tighten that up a little bit. See if I should have worked on the white balance first. Tiny bit here. And maybe I could just work on this corner a little bit. Just add some light. I need a new control plus. Okay, there we go. Let me work on the greens in here. Increase the chroma mask. Definitely the room up. This area here is great. Okay. Okay. Um, I had one more here. You just cool this off. Maybe not that much, right around there. Just add a little bit tighter mask. I'm gonna call it. Let's export this. Um, yeah, so let's see how it comes out. Okay, let's reset it. Okay. All right, so there's the before and after. Uh, you know, I think that looks a lot better actually. Just see how we did with the fine detail. Not bad. I'd like a little more contrast on the butterflies on the left and maybe de-emphasize the one on the far right a little bit. But overall, I like I like I like how this edit came out because this image is very flat, right? With a lot, and I see what happened here. There's a leaf covering this butterfly. That's why it got all soft. And there might be one in front of this because you're shooting through some brush, it looks like. Maybe that's what all this is. Maybe that's not in the background. This is foreground. But anyhow, uh, let me zoom that in. There's the final image. You can see, I just again added some gradation to the right side and warmed it up. So it gives the impression that a little bit of light is coming in from the right, and then just cooling it off on the bottom left. And then of course just making the butterflies pop a little more. All right, let's go to the next one. Uh, Another bridge, foresty trail scene. Um, let's see who sent this in. This was from Bob O'Neill. Uh, can we apply basic preset? And I'm going to use the auto lighting feature here. That didn't do much. So let me pull the light all the way down. So we have some light mostly here. I'm going to crop this part out on the left and just work with the water and lighting on the right side here. Maybe crop out this bottom. Okay. So let me work on a crop first. Just start with a square, but I might end up changing that. So we have a little bit of layering, framing right in here. When I get over here, I get this brush. Okay, I think that works. All right, so just going to bring the exposure down. So we did get some good details in the highlights, meaning there's still some blues in there. It's not totally flipped. What if I, yeah, bring in the highlights this way, pull the blacks in a little bit more, add some clarity. No, let's not do that here. We'll do that with local adjustments. So let's go to local adjustments. And I'm going to emphasize this bridge a little bit. This would be much brighter. Okay. All right, let's work with some of these harsher shadows. I can bring these up a little bit. Okay, how about that spot? We'll do that one separately. Okay. A little bit more. A bit in there. Warmth. Not that much. Shadow area. Shadows on this side aren't quite as dark. Oh, so I don't need that. It gives them quite as much punch as I did on the left side. Okay, just add a little clarity there. All right, we're almost there. Just a little bit less shadow. Okay, maybe that spot. No. We don't need it there. I don't really need one here either. Make that a little smaller. I'm going to add a little bit of color like that. Okay, good. Now, one last thing. Let's work on the water. Generally, I like the water to be, something more solid. Uh, the problem I'm having with the water on this is it's kind of a combination between the reflections and there's a problem with the reflections. The reflections are too busy. They're not clean. So I'm going to minimize the reflections. So I'm just going to bring the exposure down. Let's try some clarity. All right. Well, clarity. Or clear view. I keep calling it clarity because that's what Adobe does. Uh, what I'll probably need to do is another brush because this area is a little too bright. But maybe that's okay. I'm going to add a little bit more light in here. And then on this tree, let's add some light up in here. Oops, not that last one. Okay. Spot there. Nope, that didn't do much. It's okay. I think that works. Uh, my white balance is a little bit too green. Let's add a little more magenta. And let's desaturate either that or vibrance. There's some colors are just a bit too strong. Okay, right there. Okay, I'm gonna call it there. Let's do a comparison. So here's the before on the left and the after on the right. And as you heavy crop, I just cropped it down to a square. I think that's the only thing that would work. Like half trail and whatever this brush is over here. Okay. Uh, and if we look at it this way, there's the before and there's the after. All right. Let's do. Wow, we got three more to go here. So I'm gonna crank it up and pretty straightforward. Basically, I just have to brighten up the flowers and darken everything else and warm it up. Do a square crop. Again, a square crop. Move this over. Let's let's see if we can make these flowers white. So I'll pick a spot here. Okay, good. Um, Let me try natural. Well, yeah, I like natural. Pull the blacks in a little bit. Push the shadow. No, just a hair. The midtones. Tiny bit of clear view. Like a contrast. And then let's just make it dark. Okay. Now let me go back into the local adjustments, and you can kind of look at this like how I do my flash photography is I take away sort of the ambient light, then I add light where I think it's needed. Um, and I do that with the local adjustments. So definitely all of these flowers, I'm gonna crank up the luma. Maybe the chroma would be better. A little bit of chroma, a little more chroma than luma. Just kind of hit these. Okay. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna pull the greens out of it, because I'm sure there's some green cast on these flowers a little bit. And then let's just do a brightening here. Okay, good. And fill the highlights in just a tiny bit. And then let's do some work on the leaves. Whoops. If I pick this leaf, and we're going to crank up the chroma just a bit on this one. Okay. I'm gonna just spot pick a few areas, have some good light on them. Just around these flowers and just sort of frame flowers, with some warmer light. So let's try midtones, shadows. That's good. And then let's warm it up a little bit more. This one's too bright. Let's get rid of that. Maybe a spot here and a spot there. Spot there. Okay. And then one last thing. We can just add a vignette. Let's bring it all the way in. I'm gonna fix this. That might be too much, but let me see. So I need to, yeah, too much vignette. Okay. And then just one more local adjustment, just up in here. Just want to get, I just want to balance it with the bottom a little bit, and then warm it up a little bit. Might not need this vignette at all. Okay, I'm gonna call it there. Uh, let's do before and after. So as you can tell, I like square crops, but yeah, I think that's a little better. Okay, and just focusing your eyes on the center with light and using warmer colors, but trying to make these flowers stand out more by brightening as well. I think that looks pretty good. So let's do just a overlay of side by side. So there's before, and there's the after. The white balance is still off a little bit. I mean, it's not the white balance, it's the color, it's this green. Let me, let me shift it a little bit off the reds. There. Okay, that looks right. That may not be obvious on a live stream, but uh there's the before, there's the after. Okay, let's go to the next one. And we got a street scene here from I forgot to check Joe. And on this one, I got some, this is odd. You would never see that here in the US. People just sitting on a major street, just sitting. Um, umbrella, that could be, but it's cut off. That could be good. We got lots of signs here about Paris. Uh, hmm. I like the geometry on the right side a little better, but this in of itself is not enough. Let me just apply basic preset first. Um, hmm, got pinks, blue, black over here. These colors just don't match anything in the scene. Why would they use these colors? Paris, 2024 Olympics or something. Oh, okay. Um, yeah, these pastels are just really throwing off the entire scene. Prob Like I said, Oh, I got to take this call. Hold on. All right, sorry about that. Um, I kind of like the geometry over here, as I was saying before, but that that may not be enough. What's going on over on this side? No, that's just not working. And then this spot here, just these row of cars here. I don't like this. Okay, so, oh, seriously? You're gonna crash on me? Hold on. At least the stream is still up, right? You guys can still hear and see me. Let me go back to this. Wow, not much going on in the chat. Looks like I'm still live, right? Oh, Marco's here. Good to see you, Marco. Okay, we're back up. Let me go in here. We're working on this one. So somebody write a chat. Let me know everybody's still here and I'm live. Yeah, I didn't like this. How about no? Yeah, I think to me the only interesting thing in the photo is right over here in this corner. And I don't know if I can keep anything else without just yeah. Okay. I'm just gonna go with this corner. Oops. Let's do 4 by 3. Oh, thank you, Sandy and Drew. I wasn't sure. It's been awful quiet in the chat section. I only like this part here. This to me has interesting geometry and a little bit of a story here, whatever these people are doing in the middle of a road. Not in the middle, but this is just so odd to me, seeing people sitting on the side of a major road. Um, okay, so we'll do that. And this could even be a black and white almost, but this green over. Yeah, and 10 colors look good. I want to emphasize these colors over here. This one, and then let's do, what is this color? It's kind of bluish. Crank that up. All right, let's do some local adjustments. And we'll do the same on these people. We do it a different way. Oh, let me brush. Do this. Smaller. Back to this one. Let's push the shadows a little bit. Okay, not the shadows, maybe the blacks. Uh, good, good. I just want to check. Cut out a tiny bit. Okay, and maybe a little bit this way. Just a tiny bit more here. Let me double check my crop. And I just cropped the hell out of this. But for me, all of this over here is just a mess to me. I think this is a much simpler image. Okay, so let's do a before and after. That's pretty much the gist of it. Uh, so there's the before and after. As you can see, there was just nothing. I can't zoom this out anymore, but let me do it this way. There's the original, and then here's my edit. This to me is a more interesting story than all of the other stuff. The other stuff was just busy and didn't go together for me. But I like this image right here, this little corner of the image compared to, this this here. Okay, let's go to the next one. Last one. Oh, some parachuters. Uh, let's see. Let's do a wide crop, something like that. Add some clarity. And just overall brightness. Push the shadows a tiny bit. I like this blue water though. Maybe I shouldn't do such a wide crop. Let me try 16 by 9. Okay. Okay. And just a couple local adjustments. This one's pretty straightforward, I think. I just want to bring out the details of the sky. So do some micro contrast. And let's do a global warming. Good. Right there. White balance looks good. Maybe a touch hang gliders. Thank you. I'm sorry. I said parachuters, but they're hang gliders. I'm not I'm not well versed in much. I don't get out much, you know. The tighter crop though, you could see the hang gliders a little better. All right, let me see how we did here. Okay, I think that's all we need to do. Let me do an export because this has uh I over processed it a bit, so I need to clean it up with an export. Um, but pretty straightforward. I could do a little more with the lighting here. Let me just look. Yeah, I could do a little bit more with the lighting. Let me just pull the blacks in and then add light back in. So just a little bit in here. Just on this row of rocks right in here. Slight push there. Maybe one more there. Nope, nope. Okay, now I'm done. Let me export this. Well, the sky could be a little brighter too. Let's just push the highlights. Pull the white balance back. And now I'm going to export it. Otherwise, I'll be here all day. All right, did that export? It did. All right, so let's do a reset. Compare it against the output. All right, so there's the before and after. Uh, basically just clearing it up and emphasizing, sort of because I noticed there's some different tones here in the rocks. So I just wanted to emphasize that a little bit more with lighting and then bring out the details in the sky. And then of course we don't need all of this sky, right? I think we can just kind of stay right in here. I love this blue water down here. God, it's so pretty. So let's do a comparison before and after this way. So there's the after shot, and that's the before. All right. Um, awesome. So we're done. So let me just catch up on the chat. If you guys have any questions or anything, uh, I'll be happy to answer them for you. About either the editing I did, the decisions I make, about DxO Photolab. If you have any questions about DxO products in general, again, I'll have 20% off. You just use my affiliate link if you decide to do it, so I get a little credit. But if you like these streams and the editing I do, you can always buy me a coffee or whatever, donate. But I'm going to try and do these every week because I know a lot of you enjoy these and find these helpful, and I appreciate that. It's good practice for me as well. But um, paragliders, power gliders, technically. Yeah, yeah, paragliders. I have no idea. I don't do it. There's some things that I've kind of ruled out for the rest of my life. Anything that's in the air like that, yeah, I'm not doing that ever. I'm just too old for that. Um, and then John was saying, I think these polls earlier may have been something to do with fishing nets, maybe. Seeing something like that in France. Yeah, I don't know what I was looking at there. It would help to know so I can get some some context of what I need to edit, right? Oh, thank you, Sister Mature. I try. My goal really is just to show off the tools that I use in Photolab and how I use them uh, to give you some ideas for your own editing. Because editing is a very subjective process overall. How much do you want to brighten or darken things? Clarity, all of that stuff. It's very, very subjective. So I edit them the way I would edit my own photos. But again, my goal here is to just give you a live demo of how to use Photolab 7 and hopefully get a few affiliates there. But let's see. I sent you a photo during the stream, but you can edit that one in next stream. I was pretty late. Yeah, sorry, listen, I'll do that next time because I'm coming up on the 2 hour mark. So I try to keep these under 2 hours. Hopefully I got through those pretty quick. I'm trying to get through them faster, but then I end up spending more time on them sometimes. I don't know why. Um, but yeah, I'll definitely get to it next week. Look for me every Tuesday. Let's see. Rob says for film pack luminosity controls are in the local adjustments, the extra middle point there, just if you'd like to find. Yes, thank you, Rudolph. Let me find that real quick. Um, move this chat window out of the way. So you said it's in the local adjustments. So let me pull up an image because I do want to show that off a little bit. I might have to do that next week. So these are the local adjustments, and then you said the exact middle control point there. Oh my God, yeah, you're right. This thing. Jeez. Yeah, so what you do is you select a point, right? And then you have like the scale system here. This I think was an Ansel Adams things. But you get a little more control. You can see these sliders. If I want to expand it or narrow it a little bit this way. And some people really like working with the luminosity mask. There's plugins for Lightroom to do this, and Lightroom does this. I'm sorry, Photoshop does this. I used to have a plugin. I forget what it was called. It was called Luminosity something that did this really well. Um, but yeah, I can't believe it. I can't believe I couldn't. I just never used this though. Probably could have used it on this image. Looks like because look at the different tones that we have in this. So anywho, thank you, Rudolph. I appreciate that. And Bob says, thanks for the stream. I also look at the image at the same time at 14 millimeter, which was a lot like your crop. I like them both. Oh, okay. Thanks. But we'll call it here. So thanks everybody for watching. I really appreciate it. I will be back on Sunday for another regular live stream where I chit chat, and then Tuesday we'll do a photo editing stream. So you guys have a good rest of your week, and we'll see you again soon.